Greetings from our Temecula studio. We have made it to Thursday. And not just any Thursday. Oh no. Today is National Cheeseburger Day. And also National First Love Day. Now you might say, Ryder, what on earth do those two things have in common? Well, I'll tell you. Nothing makes more sense. Because let's face it, your first love might break your heart, but a cheeseburger will never let you down. That's what I know. Now tonight on the program, we've got the WNBA playoff elimination games. It's do or die, win or go home, however you want to phrase it. We'll break it all down, and then, oh boy, is Dambo Sweeney on his way out the door at Clemson? The once golden boy of college football? Suddenly, the shine's not so bright. We'll get into that. Plus a baseball legend, yes, a true diamond hero, is hanging it up, retiring. We'll give that the moment it deserves. So grab that cheeseburger, think fondly of your first love, and settle in, because this is the Ryder Report. I am Ryder Bullock, and we are going to start tonight in Atlanta. The Indiana Fever taking on the Atlanta Dream. Number 6 seed Fever, number 3 seed Atlanta Dream. Game 3 that featured 11 ties and 6 lead changes. Indiana closed on a 7-0 run, punctuated by Aaliyah Boston's go-ahead layup with 7.4 seconds left to put the Fever in front for the first time since the second quarter. Atlanta had a chance late, but the Fever defense stepped up. Lexi Hull picked off Ryan Howard's inbound pass with under 5 seconds to go, and Brianna Jones's last-second three at the horn came up short. Kelsey Mitchell powered Indiana with a game-high 24 points, while Leah Boston delivered a 14-point, 12-rebound double-double and the decisive basket. Odyssey Sims chipped in 16 points and 8 assists as the Fever advanced despite missing Caitlin Clark, Sydney Colson, and Sophia Cunningham to injuries. For Atlanta, Alicia Gray posted her first career playoff double-double with 19 points and 12 rebounds, but foul trouble slowed her down late. Jordan Canada added 18 points and 10 assists, but the Dream couldn't withstand Indiana's final push. Fever win it 87-85 on the road Thursday night, pulling out a dramatic Game 3 that featured 11 ties and 6 lead changes. Indiana statistically won this game at the free throw line. Indiana won 17 of 24 at the stripe compared to just 5 of 11 for Atlanta, despite being outshot from the field. The Fever forced 14 Dream turnovers, turning them into 15 points, and that proved the difference. Final score from Georgia: Fever 87, Dream 85. Indiana now moves on to face either the defending... Indiana goes on to face either Las Vegas or Seattle in a best-of-5 semifinal series starting on Sunday. In Las Vegas, meanwhile, WNBA semifinals are heating up as the Las Vegas Aces hold a slim 4-point lead over the Seattle Storm midway through the third quarter. Asia Wilson is carrying the Aces with 19 points on 6 of 10 shooting and 7 of 8 from the line, adding 5 rebounds and a block. For Seattle, Sabrina Ionescu-Diggins has 10 points with 3 assists and 2 steals, keeping the Storm in striking distance. The team's stats show the Aces shooting efficiently at 45% from the field, while the Storm are struggling at 33%. Seattle is connecting on 40% of their threes, but the Aces are hitting 88 from the free throw line. Both teams are evenly matched on rebounds and turnovers, with Seattle at 16 boards and 10 turnovers. Las Vegas at 17 boards and 10 turnovers. With the series tied at 1 apiece, this one is far from over. Can the Storm claw back, or will the Aces tighten their grip on this crucial game? We will keep you updated on that game as the night progresses. We're also tracking NFL action. The Buffalo Bills taking on the Miami Dolphins. Bills leading at 28-21. A one-touchdown lead over the Miami Dolphins late in the fourth quarter. Buffalo quarterback Josh Allen has thrown for 183 yards, completing 3 touchdown passes with a perfect 131.9 passing rating. Miami's Tua Tagovailoa is 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, totaling 133 yards. On the ground, Jamar Cook III leads the Bills with 101 rushing yards and a touchdown on 16 carries. Miami's Devin Aiken has added 62 yards, rushing on 12 attempts. Top receivers include Dante Kincaid for Buffalo with 66 yards and a touchdown. Miami's Tyreek Hill with 49 yards and a touchdown. Defensively, the Dolphins' Dotson has recorded a sack, while Bernard snagged an interception for Buffalo. Team stats show Buffalo with 321 total yards, 148 rushing, 163 passing, and controlling the clock slightly with 29:09 of possession. Miami has 247 total yards, 114 on the ground, 133 in the air, but penalty 6 have slowed them down. Buffalo has been steady, but Miami is still in striking distance. Can Tua and the Dolphins pull off the comeback? We'll have more from that game coming up throughout the hour. Let's, though, go back to the WNBA real quick and talk about what is going to take place tomorrow. So we know that the Link defeated the Valkyries by a point, 75-74. Collier scored 24 points, and the number 1 seed Link advanced to the semifinals on Sunday. Tomorrow, though, their opponent will be either the Liberty or the Mercury. Tomorrow, 9 o'clock Eastern Time in Phoenix. Brianna Stewart leading the way for New York, 18.3 points per game. And Salabay leading the line for Phoenix with 16.3. Injury report, nothing to report. Both teams are healthy, though. We look at team stats, and that might be where the difference lies. New York averaging more points a game, 84-82. Points against, 77-68. Again, New York leading. Field goal percentage, again, New York, 45.3 to 43.3. That's what made game 1 kind of so close. Was those field goal percentages, and then the Mercury's rebounding. They averaged 34 rebounds a game compared to New York's 33. Assists per game, 21.8 in favor of New York. Mercury only have 20. Blocks per game, 3 to 4, again in favor of New York. Steals, kind of the same, 7.6, 7.8. Mercury with a tight advantage there. Game 1 was all, I shouldn't say all Phoenix, but Phoenix won it. Game 1, Game 1 was New York. Cloud scores 23. Stewart added 18. And if you remember correctly, Stewart left the game in overtime. And then game 2, that was all Salabay and Thomas, who helped Phoenix beat New York 86-60. And so Game 3 tomorrow, Game 3 on Sunday. And they will play Minnesota. So, WNBA playoffs heating up. Fever and the Link have cashed their tickets into the semifinals, a best of 5. We go from 5 games now, 3, 5, 7 throughout these playoffs. Aces lead the Storm 52-48 end of the third quarter. Give you some box scores real quick. Diggins has 10 points for the Storm, and Wilson has 27 for the Aces. We're also monitoring that NFL game, and we can coming to you right now. We can breaking news right now. The Bills have defeated the Dolphins 31-21. The final on Thursday night, 31-21. Bills had 12 first downs, so 12 passing first downs, 8 rushing first downs, 360 total yards, 203 passing yards, 157 rushing yards. The one turnover of the game was on Miami. Take a look at the box scores from that game. Tua Tagovailoa, 22 of 34, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Josh Allen, 22 of 28, 213 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. James Cook had a touchdown as well. So did Dalton Kincaid and number 10, Cowhill Sakir, wide receiver. For Miami, Ollie Gordon II had a touchdown. Tyreek Hill had a touchdown, and Jalen Waddell also had a touchdown. But Bills win it 31-21. They advanced to 3-0. Miami sitting at 0-3. Bills have the Saints at home on the 28th. The Dolphins have the Jets on Monday the 29th. So, Miami's woes continue. No surprise there. And we will talk about Miami's woes in depth tomorrow. But tonight, we are going to talk about Colton Kershaw. Done. After this season, the Dodgers made it official. Friday night against the Giants will be his last regular season start. And listen, this guy, 37 years old, 18 years in Dodgers, blue 11-time All-Star, 3-time Cy Young MVP in 14. 2-time champ, 3,000 strikeouts. That's not a resume. That's first ballot Hall of Fame. Don't try and argue. Now, 222 wins, 96 losses, ERA of 2.54, lowest since 1920 in the live ball era. You realize how insane that is? Nobody's even close. And by the way, his winning percentage tops off anybody. .200 wins since 1900. Okay, think about that. Okay, his winning percentage, okay, is at the top. It tops anybody with 200 wins since 1900. Folks, you're talking about one of the greatest pitchers to ever do it, period. And here's the thing, yeah, the October struggles will always be a part of the story. 4.22 ERA in the postseason. Gave up some big ones in the playoffs. But don't tell me that diminishes what he did over nearly 2 decades. The man carried the Dodgers for years when they couldn't get over the hump. He finally broke through, got his rings, and for all the injuries this year and the IL, the toe last year, it's remarkable he still found a way to compete. And let me say this, Kershaw is one of those rare guys who became bigger than stats. Teammates worshipped his work ethic. He was the face of that franchise. And he did it with the same team for 18 years. That almost never happens anymore. Him, Dodger Stadium, it's iconic. Hall of Fame, no doubt. Cooperstown, 2031, he's going in, mark it down. You can nitpick all you want about October, but he's one of the defining pitchers of his generation. Him, Verlander, Scherzer. That's the Mount Rushmore of the 21st century arms. And I'll tell you something else. He walks away with his head high, a family man, 5 kids, humanitarian, work, high school teammate of Matthew Stafford, you name it. That's the full package. Legendary career, legendary competitor, legendary team, one of the greats. He's the reason the Dodgers won the World Series last year. He's the reason that the Dodgers are probably going to win the West and might make a deep threat in the playoffs this year. We take a look at MLB games that we're following. Earlier today, the Brewers defeated the Angels 5-2. Yankees defeated the Orioles 7-0. Reds defeated the Cubs 1-0. Marlins over the Rockies 9-7. Mariners over the Royals 2-0. Athletics over the Red Sox 5-3. Rays over the Blue Jays 4-0. Mets defeated the Padres 6-1. And the Guardians defeated the Tigers 3-1. Giants taking on the Dodgers as we speak. End of the fourth. Game is tied at 0. From baseball to soccer, because this is big, Lionel Messi, yes, still the biggest name in the sport. He and Inter Miami are hammering out a final detail on a contract extension. We brought you this story last night. We have some updates, though. Miami is just on some final details. They're kind of nitpicking at this point. But the deal is going to keep him there through 2026, maybe longer. Nothing official yet, but the reports are out. This thing is basically done. And Inter Miami needs this deal badly. They've got a brand new stadium open up next year right by the airport. They've already sold ticket packages, deposits, the whole thing. And let's be honest, those seats don't sell them, they don't sell themselves. Messi sells those tickets. And if Messi's not on the roster, he's the draw. He's the face of the league. Forget just the team. Messi's, 38 years old, still putting up crazy numbers. 20 goals, 11 assists this season. Second most in the league for goals. And he missed time, sure. He came here in 2023, $150 million deal, MVP. And last year, even though he missed almost half the season, he's already won the League's Cup, Supporters' Shield, lifted the entire franchise from an afterthought to a global brand. And here's the thing, you're also talking about the 2026 World Cup right here in the United States. Messi wants to be sharp. Argentina wants to defend their title. And MLS wants that spotlight. Everybody wins if he stays. So, this isn't just a soccer move, it's a business move. Messi sells tickets. He sells shirts. He makes, the MLS relevant globally. You keep him in Miami, you're keeping the entire league at the forefront of the conversation. And frankly, I don't care if he's 40 years old in 2027. If he's still out there, people are watching. That's the messy effect. So yeah, it's not official, but it's happening. He's not going anywhere. Miami's going to have him through the new stadium, through the World Cup, and maybe beyond. That's a big win for the MLS, as you're going to get. Big Ten basketball. I know it is October, or, well, not even October. It's September. And so why would we be talking about college basketball? Well, the Big Ten just dropped their full breakdown for the 25-26 men's basketball schedule. 180 games, 20-game conference slates. The whole deal, 18 teams now. It's massive. Starts December 2nd. You got Iowa at Michigan State. Rutgers hosting Purdue. USC going to Oregon. Boom, right out of the gate. Heavyweight stuff. Now you play 20 games. You get 3 teams twice. Everybody else once. It's the grind. You want to win this league. You got to go through that gauntlet. And the tournament, United Center, March 10th through the 15th. First one ever with all 18 teams. Tuesday, you get the bottom 4. Then you just roll it out. By the weekend, you're down to semifinals. CBS carrying it again. That's tradition. That's Big Ten basketball in March. But here's the thing. There are some monster games circled on this schedule. January 30th, Michigan at Michigan State. That's always must watch. One of the best rivalries in sports, period. February 20th, Indiana at Purdue. That's another one. Absolutely. Got to mark that game on your calendar. UCLA at Michigan State, February 17th. New blood going up against Izzo. And I'm telling you, that one's going to be big. And don't sleep on Oregon at Purdue, February 7th. That's 2 programs with Final Four talent. And you know I'm watching USC at UCLA February 24th. Always nasty. But now, you know, that Big Ten flair, which just, you know, seems surreal, but it's where we're at. And hey, look, Michigan State last year, 17-3 in conference. Izzo back on top, won the league. Michigan went out and won the tournament. This year, this is as wide open as I've ever seen it. Michigan State's good, Purdue's good, Illinois is good, UCLA's loaded, Oregon's dangerous, Michigan's, you know, got a second year coach and he's fired up and gonna be doing some big things. So you're gonna get heavyweights beating up each other 3 nights a week. Big Ten basketball, December through March. It's a street fight. And this year, 18 teams. You know, last year, you know, the bottom 4 didn't make it. You know, it was just 16. I like that all the teams get a chance. A little more Cinderella, a little more flair, an extra night of basketball. I'm all for it. Sign me up. Sign me up. Speaking of basketball, 6:35 left to play in the 4th. Vegas leads Seattle 58-57. Wilson, 29 points, 11 of 20 on the day, 7 of 8 from the line, 0 for 1 from downtown. Wheeler for Seattle, 12 points, 5 for 12, 2 for 5 from downtown. Bell has 5 rebounds for Vegas as well. Let's go to college football now, because this was a big story. Clemson's Dambo Sweeney, He's got the Tigers sitting at 1-2, pressure building. And he's out here this week saying if players are getting revenue share, if they're getting millions, then they've got to perform. You can't have it both ways, he says. He's comparing it to the next level, saying it's not lifetime contracts. You've got to earn it. Now listen, there's a couple of things here. First, he's not wrong. If you're Cade Klubnik and you're pulling down $2.5 million, yeah, people expect more than 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions in 3 games. It's just reality. Peter Woods, TJ Parker, 7 figures. They're supposed to dominate. That's how this works now. You want the money. With it comes the accountability. But let's be honest here. The bigger issue is Dan Boone's self. People saying he's not on the warm seat. Please. He is on the warm seat. This is a guy who won a national title, won a couple national titles. Built Clemson into a powerhouse, and now they're slipping. 1-2. Losing to Georgia Tech. Now the LSU game I get. I understand it, But you were at home, so that's kind of hard. But LSU, third team in the country. 1 possession game, came down to a final drive interception. But they're slipping. They're 1-2, struggling to adapt in the NIL era, losing recruits, losing games. And you look at Clemson's schedule, it only gets harder. ACC play ain't no joke. Miami's hot right now. You're at home against Syracuse, 16.5 point favorite. Syracuse 2-1. Then from there, North Carolina 2-1. Boston College, who's 1-2. SMU 2-1. Duke, Florida State, 7th ranked Florida State. Undefeated Louisville on the 14th. Furman, you'll win that game. And then a very hot South Carolina team that did, though, just lose to Vanderbilt. So, and then you'll probably play Miami in the ACC championship. You look at the standings, and Clemson's last in conference play. Now, I get it. It's only week 4, and things are going to heat up. Yeah, things are going to heat up. But Clemson's saving grace is their conference schedule this year is kind of on the weaker side of things. But, still Florida State, North Carolina, Syracuse, they're all ahead of you. And that is to me alarming. And, Cade Klubnik is going to have to perform at a higher level. And Dambo is going to have to adapt. Okay? He's not untouchable. He's not Nick Saban. He doesn't have that shield anymore. And here's the thing. He's been fighting this NIL stuff from the start. He never liked it. He wanted the old system, the scholarships, the tradition. But the sport has moved. And if you don't move with it, you get left behind. That's what's happening right now. Meanwhile, look at Arkansas. Sam Pittman and their athletic director, they're flat out saying we don't have the money to win a national title right now. At least that's honesty. Well, that's transparency. Clemson's got the money, but the results aren't there. So where does this go? Well, Danbo's right about the expectations, but he's the one who has to manage it. You're the coach. You're the one who has to win games with this roster, with this system. And if you don't, then your seat's not warm. It's hot. Very hot. I don't think Danbo's getting fired tomorrow, like Billy Napier. Here you go. Here, hot take of the day. Hot take of the day. If Florida does not beat Miami on Saturday night, Billy Napier will be out of a job. And if he is not out of a job, we will talk about it every day on this program until he is out of the job. And I like Miami to beat Florida in that game. But Danbo, he's not getting fired tomorrow. But make no mistake, the clock's ticking. Tick-tock. 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 If Clemson does not make the playoff, it's going to be tough. He will be in the hot seat. If he doesn't figure out the NIL era and fast, his run at the top might be over. No doubt about it. There was, though, sticking with college football, there was one game on today. Rice taking on Charlotte. How about Chase Jenkins throwing a touchdown and ran for another? Daleen Alexander rushed for 73 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Rice beat Charlotte 28-17 to open American Conference play. Rice had opened a season 3-1 for the first time since 2001 when the Owls won 6 of their first 7. Scott Abel is the first coach to have 3 wins in his first 4 games of a career at Rice since Bo Hagen in 1967. Jenkins was 8 of 11, passing for 87 yards, and he carried it 10 times for 71. Quentin Jackson added 80 yards on the ground. Charlotte's first touchdown came with 7:27 left in the first quarter after Garrison Loftus' 31-yard connection with Javian Nichols. His successful 2-point conversion capped the scoring. Rice had a key sack on each of Charlotte's final 2 possessions to help seal it. Loftus was 15 of 31 for 186 yards for Charlotte, 1-3. Liam Boyd went 3 of 4 on field goal attempts with a long of 40. Connor Harrell, who threw for 382 yards last week in a win over Monmouth, was 8 of 13 for 73 yards. Last season, Charlotte rallied for a 21-20 win at Rice Stadium after driving 77 yards in less than a minute to score a touchdown with 47 seconds left in the game. This year, though, Rice wins it 28-17. Rice has Navy next Saturday. Charlotte has South Florida on Friday, October the 3rd. To the NBA, guard Dennis Smith Jr. has agreed to a 1-year contract to return to the Dallas Mavericks. That's from his agent, Daniel Hazen. And now listen, this is a reunion. Dallas drafted him back in 2017, 9th overall. And now at 27, he's back with the team that started it all. He'll go into training camp, competing for a spot. And keep in mind, Dallas has a full roster. Brandon Williams is there, partially guaranteed, so nobody's fighting for minutes and maybe even a job. Smith's career arc has been a ride, 15 a game as a rookie, all-rookie team, then shipped out in the Porzingis deal, bounced through the New York, Detroit, Portland, Charlotte, Brooklyn. Last NBA season, he was still second in steals per 36 minutes. That tells you he can defend. He can hustle. Then last year, Real Madrid in the EuroLeague got that overseas polish, and now he's back. And here's the thing. This isn't about Dennis Smith Jr. taking over games. Dallas has Cooper Flagg now, number 1 overall pick, the new face of the Mavericks, the guy who's supposed to carry this franchise. Smith can help him by doing the dirty work. He can guard on the perimeter. He can push tempo. He can take some of that ball handling pressure off Flagg so the kid doesn't have to create everything by himself. Sometimes young stars, especially rookies, they need a veteran who's been through it. Smith has bounced around. He's been humbled. He knows what failure looks like in the league. And that perspective matters. When Flagg hits that rookie wall, having a guy like Smith in the locker room who's lived the highs and lows, that's valuable. So the headline is simple. Dennis Smith Jr. back in Dallas. The bigger story, he's not here to be a star. He's here to make Flagg's transition smoother, to give Dallas some grit and depth, and to play that stabilizing role around the new cornerstone of the franchise. And I like that a lot. Dallas, I don't know if Dallas is going to be a total threat in the West, but that pickup definitely helps them in the Western Conference, and I like it a lot. Take a look at what's going on in the W. 1:14 left to play in the fourth. 71-70, just like last night. We'll do a live look-in, and we will get to see who wins this game together tonight. 71-70, Seattle taking the lead with 1:14. Time has stopped. Aces have called time out. Give you some backstory on this game. So, on the heels of their 17-game winning streak being snapped, the Las Vegas Aces are fighting to stay in the playoffs against the Seattle Storm. The winner will advance to the semifinals against the Indiana Fever, who won earlier tonight, eliminating Atlanta. Asia Wilson, who was named co-defensive player of the year earlier today, is setting the tone so far. For the Storm, the very reliable Nike Umuke has not made a field goal at the half. The Aces are looking to advance the semis for the 7th consecutive season, while the Storm are looking to return for the first time since 2022. Into the third quarter, Aces led this game 52-48. And Asia Wilson is carrying the Aces to the finish line, trying to anyway. She has 36 points, and Omuke has 16 for Seattle. 1:14 left to play. Aces are on a timeout as the game has resumed. Take a look at team stats real quick. Aces shooting 45%. Seattle 40%. Seattle 38% from the 3-point range. Aces at 25%. 71, 70, 114 left to play. Aces have the ball. Magabor just entered the game for Seattle. Wheeler heads to the bench. Skies is also in the game for Seattle. Diggins is on the bench as well. Vegas has the ball with 1:03 left to play. And Wilson just made a layup. Gray got the assist. Now the Aces lead by 1, and the Storm have called a timeout with 1:02 left to play. So this is for the right to play the Fever, who, with the help of Aaliyah Boston and Lexi Hull, beat Atlanta 87-85. Boston made the go-ahead basket with 7.4 seconds left. Lexi Hull stole the show, ensuring the inbound pass. And the Indiana Fever beat the number 3 seeded Atlanta Dream 87-85 on Thursday night. Winner of the Seattle-Vegas game will play the Fever in a best of 5 on Sunday. So Skies is back. Or no, I'm sorry. Diggins is back in the game. Skies is on the bench. I think there was somebody else. Wheeler's back in the game for Seattle. Inbound to Diggins. She misses the layup. Lloyd gets the rebound. 45.4 seconds left on the clock. And Wilson misses her shot with 24.7 seconds. Seattle gets the rebound. Mongola passes it to Wheeler, and she will make a 12-foot jump shot. (73-72) Seattle leading it. Aces call timeout. 18.7 left to play in the fourth. Wow, these WNBA playoffs have been phenomenal. Last night, we had a game down to the wire. The Link defeated the Valkyries 75-74. Now you've got a 1-point matchup here with the Storm trying to upset Vegas. So Minnesota and Indiana have already cashed their ticket. The Storm and the Aces trying to do the same. The Liberty and the Mercury play tomorrow, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. And that will be the final four. Aces in a timeout. We take a look at team stats. Seattle leading the rebound column 32-26. Aces have 20 assists. Seattle has 17. Aces have 11 steals compared to Seattle's 9. Points in the paint. Aces lead at 40-32. Look at her box score. Wilson has 38 for the Aces. Diggins has 13 for Seattle. And Nike Ojoke has 16. So 18.7 seconds left in the game. Vegas has the ball. Wilson just missed her shot. She got Young got the rebound and made the tip in. So now Vegas leading at 74-73. Storm call a timeout with 12.4 left to play. Vegas out of timeout. Seattle has 2. Which may be the difference. I'm not sure. So that game down to the final seconds, 12.4 to be exact. Real quick, though, Liberty play Phoenix tomorrow in an elimination game for both teams. Game 3. 4 game 3s in the first round. Semifinals are 5. And then the finals for the first time ever are 7 games. New York Liberty, the defending champions, travel to Phoenix tomorrow. Mercury are a 2.5 point underdog at home. Back to Vegas. Wheeler enters the game. Wheeler missed her shot. Diggins entered the game for Megabor. And Wheeler misses the 14 jump shot, but Seattle got the rebound. Williams will miss the 16-foot jumper, and Vegas survives 74-73. Asia Wilson using the pick and roll. She drops 36. I'm sorry, 38. She drops 38. 14 of 26 on the day. And the Aces will play Indiana on Sunday. What a great series that is going to be in Las Vegas. We will have previews of that tomorrow. We finish, though, with the biggest gaffle of the NFL season so far. Steelers rookie lets a kickoff bounce into the end zone, stands there like he's waiting for a bus. Seattle jumps on it. Touchdown. Embarrassing. Absolute nightmare for a coach. But you know what? For the league, that's progress. That's what the NFL wanted. The kickoff is no longer a dead play. We talked about this in an earlier episode, and I like it because you've got unpredictability. You've got bounces. You got chaos. Before, it was 12 touchbacks a game. Who cares? Ball at the 25, yawn. Now ball's in play. Anything can happen. That's football. That's competition. I like this new rule. I really do. You're forcing kickers to get creative, laying it between the 10 and the goal line, make it bounce like a knuckleball, make the returner think. That's strategy, that's fun, that's the kind of wrinkle the game needs. And look, the touchback rate has dropped from 65% to 16%. That's not small. That's a revolution. Does it punish the big lead-legged kickers? A little bit. Yeah, maybe. But I don't care. The game isn't better because somebody can just blast through the uprights on a kickoff. The game's better when you've got returners panicking, coverage teams chasing, the whole stadium holding its breath, and yes, there are going to be mistakes. That Pittsburgh play, it won't be the last. You'll see a couple more this year. But you know what? That's why I like it. It makes the play matter again. For years, the kickoff was a formality. Now it's a weapon. So I'm in favor. Good job by the league on this one. The dynamic kickoff works. Finally, we've got some juice back in special teams. Here is what is trending right now. WNBA, we just seen moments ago. The Aces defeat the Storm by a point, 74-73. Fever upset the Dream, 87-85. Game 1 of the semifinals is scheduled for Sunday in Vegas. In the NFL, Bills defeat the Dolphins 31-21. Josh Allen had 3 touchdown passes, and Terrell Bernard's pick secures the Bills' 3-0 victory. In college football, Rice defeated Charlotte to open up American Conference play. Final score 28-17. Chase Jenkins' passing and rushing touchdown led Rice over Charlotte 28-17 in the American Conference opener. In Florida, prosecutors claimed a key eyewitness in the 2006 murder of Miami Hurricanes football player Brian Patta was dead. But ESPN recently located him alive in Louisville, Kentucky. The witness, 81-year-old Paul Connor, had previously identified former teammate Rashawn Jones as the man he saw leaving the scene. Prosecutors relied on a faulty database suggesting Connor was deceased, and a judge had already allowed his past testimony to be used at Jones' upcoming trial. Connor, however, now says his memory is fading and doesn't recall details of the case. The revelation raises serious questions about the state's handling of evidence and credibility, with Jones' defense calling prosecutors' claims, quote, blatant lies. Jones, arrested in 2021 after years of investigative missteps, maintains his innocence and has pled not guilty. The case, plagued by lost records, delayed arrests, and inconsistent witness testimony, is scheduled to go to trial October 6th. The discovery is that a supposedly, quote, dead witness is still alive and could have a significant impact on the proceedings. The NFL acknowledged that the Philadelphia Eagles should have been flagged for at least 4 false starts during the use of their, quote, tush push quarterback sneak in the Sunday's 20-17 win over the Kansas City Chiefs. In its weekly training tape distributed Wednesday, the league instructed officials to officiate the controversial yardage play tight moving forward. The tape highlighted movement by the Eagles' right guard before a crucial fourth-quarter sneak, echoing post-game complaints from Chiefs coach Andy Reid and comments from Fox analyst Tom Brady. Philadelphia used the tush-push 6 times in the game, gaining 4 first downs and a touchdown. Despite scrutiny, Eagle players defend the play, while the team noted they'll adapt it if the league places more emphasis on calling penalties. A proposal to ban the tush push earlier this year narrowly failed at the NFL's owner meeting, and the Eagles have converted the play at a 96.6% rate on 4th and 1 since 2022. In San Francisco, quarterback Brock Purdy is still working back from a toe injury suffered in the season opener and says his status for Sunday's divisional matchup against Arizona will be a game-time decision. Purdy practiced on a limited basis this week and noted his shoulder is no longer an issue, but lingering pain in his toe has made progress, quote, day to day. Backup Mac Jones remains ready if Purdy can't go. Green Bay tight end Tucker Kraft sustained a knee injury in practice Thursday, but test shows no significant damage. Kraft, who leads the Packers in receiving through 2 weeks, is expected to be available against Cleveland on Sunday, though his team will monitor him closely. With Jaden Reed sidelined by a broken collarbone and Christian Watson still rehabbing from ACL surgery, Kraft has become a key target for Jordan Love. In South Carolina, their quarterback, Lenore Sellers, has been upgraded to probable for Saturday's game at number 23 Missouri after leaving last week's loss to Vanderbilt with a head injury from a targeting hit. Sellers, a redshirt sophomore and NFL prospect, accounted for 25 touchdowns last season. If cleared, he'll return as the Gamecocks look to rebound after being held to just 7 points against Vandy. That is what's trending. Here is tonight's final thought. It is often said that justice delayed is justice denied. If that's true, then Brian Flores and his fellow plaintiffs may feel they've been denied more than once. Once again, attorneys for Flores, along with coaches Steve Wilkes and Ray Horton, have asked the courts to reconsider whether their lawsuit against the NFL should be heard in open court or swept into the league's private attribution process. They argue convincingly that attribution run by the commissioner himself is not an impartial forum, but rather a shield for the league and its owners. For those keeping score, this all began nearly 3 years ago, when Flores filed suit alleging systematic racism in the NFL's hiring of black coaches. The case has crawled forward ever since. Slowed by procedural fights and legal wargagging, meanwhile, the league's promised attribution process, it's been at a standstill for months. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The NFL has had a long history of proclaiming its commitment to diversity, even as the evidence suggests otherwise. Flores claims to go to the heart of that contradiction, and yet instead of being addressed in the light of day, they've been buried in paperwork and delay. So we are left to wonder, does the NFL actually want to confront the question Flores has raised, or simply wait him out until the public loses interest? For a league that sells itself as the most powerful sport in America, the silence here speaks volumes. Because at issue isn't just Brian Flores' career, or even the careers of other minority coaches. At issue is whether the NFL is willing to admit that its much tempered Rooney Rule and its diversity pledges may amount to little more than window dressing. And if the league can't face that question in public, what does that say about the answers it fears we might hear? That'll do it for me on a Monday night. Till next time, Ryder Bullock reporting. Thank you so much for your time and letting me share mine.